Hey everyone, this is Mike, and today we're going to be talking a little bit about Destiny 2, the current season, and the future for Destiny 2 itself, because currently Destiny is kind of in a rough spot. Season of the Worthy, more like Season of the Worthless, because the current seasonal content is not that great. They just released a new event as well, the Guardian Games, which is absolute shit in my opinion. I'm still gonna finish it because I want the exotic that's at the end, but if that reward was not there, I definitely wouldn't be playing this because this has been the worst event that I've ever seen in Destiny 2. And overall, currently, the game is just in a bit of a slump. There are a bunch of error codes that people are experiencing, there's a bunch of hackers around in PvP. Like, for example, when I was trying to do strikes this morning to get some stuff for the event done, I had to leave 3 of them because we just couldn't even get into the strike in the first place because people weren't loading in and that kind of stuff. So definitely not a great experience to be playing Destiny 2 right now. I am going to talk a little bit about the seasonal content, what I think is good, what I did think was not so great. And then I'm also going to talk a little bit about what the future for Destiny 2 holds and kind of what we have seen when it comes down to leaks and that kind of stuff for a future expansion. So, first of all, let's talk about this season. What did I think was good? What did I think was not so great? So, what I do not like about the seasonal, like how should I call this? Formula, I guess we'll call it, is that it's basically time-gated content. So, in the Season of Undying, we had the Vex Offensive. We could only get the Vex Offensive weapons and gear during that season. That was it. In Season of Dawn, we had the Sundial. You could get the Sundial weapons, and you can only get them there. And same thing for this season. We have the Seraph weapons with the bunkers and that kind of stuff. We have the legendary Lost Sectors. We have the beautiful public event that we have. And that is only available in this season. So seasonal content itself, I'm not a fan of because I like longevity in stuff that they introduce in the game. For example, if I get into Destiny 2 right now, I can still go back, like, 2 years ago right now, and do the Leviathan raids or something like that. Because that is content that is just always gonna be there. Seasonal content is gonna stay here for 3 months and then it's gone. So it really shows that they're starting to put less effort into the seasonal content. Because even though I really like the legendary Lost Sectors, I think they were a really great addition to the game, but the public event is basically like our big seasonal content together with the Lost Sectors. And even though I really like the Lost Sectors, the public event is utter trash. I really don't enjoy it. And then like having to clear out your bunker every day kinda got stale really quickly as well. So when it comes down to seasonal content, pretty meh this season around. When it comes down to the special weapons and armor that we can get, it's kind of cool, but I have a little bit of mixed feelings about them. So the weapons themselves are for the most part not that great. The shotgun, however, is one of my favorite shotguns in the game and I use it constantly. I'm really happy with that one. But the other weapons kind of have very weird perk rolls. They can't roll with a damage perk and a reload perk, I believe it is. So it feels kind of weird to be using them. They are still okay weapons, but when it comes down to like comparing them to other options that are available, they're never going to be the best. However, they work together with the seasonal mods that you can get right now, which will spawn Seraph cells or Warmind cells or something like that. And then when you shoot them or when you grab them, punch them, something like that, they get a special effect depending on which mod you have equipped, which I think is really cool because it makes you play the game completely different. So the weapons themselves are meh, but combined with the mods you can do some really cool stuff, which I think is a great bonus. So I'm still willing to give the weapons a pass because they're still okay, and then combined together with the mods, they're actually pretty great things that you can do with them. Now in this season we also got the Grandmaster Nightfall. I thought this was going to be a pretty cool experience, but it is still just a strike on a higher difficulty, and the way that they handle difficulty in Destiny 2 I am not a fan of. All they really do is just give the monsters more, or like give the enemies more HP and make them do more damage to you. There's no real mechanics involved or anything like that. So all that happens is your enemies turn into bullet sponges and you turn into a glass cannon. So I'm not a huge fan of how they handle difficulty in general, which is also one of the reasons why I haven't gone into Grandmaster Nightfalls yet with my friends. Just because it doesn't really feel worth it. There's also no real reward at the end of it, by the way. You can do the 1030 Nightfall and you get the exact same loot as the, like the 1050, which the Grandmaster Nightfall is. So there's no real loot difference, so we'd rather do the 1030, clear that faster, get the same loot as with the Grandmaster Nightfall. The only thing you get is a title if you end up clearing all of the Grandmaster Nightfalls this season, so definitely not a big fan of how they handled that. At least they could have like given double drops or something like that, because it is way more of a challenge to try and clear that one. And then last but not least, we have Trials of Osiris. Trials was something that I was really looking forward to. Back in year 1 of Destiny 2, I played a bunch of Trials of the 9 with my friends. It's something that we really enjoyed. Basically, just every Friday we go in, see how far we can get, and have some fun in a more competitive PvP experience. Trials of Osiris was fun. We're still doing it. Of course, last week we finally got our first Flawless clear. We don't actively play to try and get Flawless, like for example this week. We spent, what was it, like 2 hours playing Trials or something like that, so we don't actively go for Flawless, but we just go in every week to get our 3, 5 and maybe 7 win reward if we get that far. Now, the reason why Trials is not that great at the moment is for a couple of reasons. First of all, the amount of error codes that are around in the game that boot you out of the game, crash your game, send you back to orbit, and basically make you lose games. And losing games in Trials, of course, counts towards your ticket as well, or your Trials card, whatever you want to call it. And then you might lose out on certain loot, or on certain win streaks, or on your Flawless run, which is incredibly frustrating. Pair that together with the hackers, and it's really not a great experience. Also, the first few weeks of Trials had some issues with the loot distribution, where you didn't get your 3, 5 and 7 win rewards, and that would also make it so that you couldn't turn in your token. So if you didn't get a 3 win reward, you also couldn't turn in your token, so you're playing like a whole weekend getting tokens, but because you didn't get your rewards for winning 3 games, you can't turn in those tokens. So well, some issues there. Eventually I think everything is resolved at this point, so that's pretty good. So Trials is a lot more fun now, but it did kind of have a rough start, and because of that rough start, a lot of players kind of stopped playing Trials in the first place. So that's kind of what I think about this season. Seasonal content is okay, legendary lost sectors are fun, weapons together with the mods are cool, public event is boring, Trials is alright as well. Even though it had a rough start, I think it's in a pretty okay spot now, although the reward structure can really be worked upon, and they are going to be changing that in the future as well, so definitely curious to see exactly what they changed to Trials and see if it's a little bit better right there. And then the Grandmaster Nightfalls I am not a huge fan of, because they're just there for the challenge. There's no real reward attached to it except a title if you end up clearing all of the Grandmaster Nightfalls. Now, looking forward into the future, Destiny 2 is still my favorite shooter for many reasons. The gunplay is great, the amount of random rolls that you can get on your weapons makes it so that my gun feels different than my friend's gun, even though we're using the same one, because our rolls are different and that kind of stuff. And then all of the stuff that you can do with mods and exotic armor pieces or exotic weapons in the game is something that I really do enjoy. And now going forward into the next expansion, it seems like things are getting quite interesting. So we did get a leak a few days ago or a few weeks ago at this point about Destiny 2 Collapse, which apparently is going to be another expansion where we basically go fight against the Darkness. The Darkness are these pyramid ships that they showed off in year 1 at the end of the campaign of when Destiny 2 came out. They showed us these big pyramid ships. Then of course in Shadowkeep there is a pyramid ship underneath the surface of the moon, so we kind of got some more lore about the Darkness there. And now we can see that when we go into the Seraph bunkers, that there are tiny black triangles heading towards the city, basically. So even though that the story of this current season has been utter garbage, like we got a cutscene at the start and that's pretty much it, hopefully when the Darkness arrives, it's going to be something really cool, and I'm definitely looking forward to what that could be, because I've always enjoyed playing the story in Destiny 2, even though it might not always be amazing. I did quite enjoy playing through the year 1 story, because it's literally your fall from grace and you have to work your way back up there, which was quite exciting to do. And I'm really curious to see what is going to happen with this Collapse. People have also been speculating that we're going to get a new race to fight us against, which is always pretty cool if we get new enemies introduced into the game. So I'm definitely looking forward to all of that stuff. So TLDR, what can you kind of take away from this video? Currently Destiny 2 is in a little bit of a rough spot. The season currently is not that great when it comes down to the content that is available, and with all of the error codes and the hacking that is going on, it's really not a good experience to be playing now. Not to mention that the current event, the Guardian games, is pretty shit as well. Now, going towards the future with the new expansion and that kind of stuff, I am still very excited to be playing Destiny 2. The core gameplay of the game is still amazing, and I don't think I will be able to find anything alike in another game just yet. So I'm really looking forward to what they can bring in the future and hopefully fix some of the issues that are around right now with the seasonal model and that kind of stuff. So that's pretty much all I wanted to say for today's video. Really looking forward to what the next expansion is gonna bring. Also still kind of curious to see what is going to happen with some of the things in this season as well, because we did see a couple of cool data mine things that could still be coming this season, so hopefully they can still save it with like a cool climax at the end of the season or something like that. But that will all be things to look forward to in the future. For now, that's all I wanted to talk about. I want to thank you for watching. I want to thank my Patreons for supporting me, and I'll see you in the next one.